and communities to raise healthy, successful children and youth through services including counseling, early learning, youth development, domestic violence, and education support for school-aged children. Committed to serving the African American community, Atlantic Street Center provides services and support for all marginalized people. Learn more at AtlanticStreetCenter.org.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
The beat of the Fox with nastiness is back on K-Fox Night Beat.
Yo, what's the deal? It's the legendary Hall of Fame DJ Mixmaster Ice from UTFO.
What's up? Who you thought this is? This is Sir Mix-a-Lot.
And this is Terry Lewis.
And I'm Grand Mixer GMS.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Third Degree.
This is JJ Hudson from the High Children family.
Sunday nights from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's K-Fox Night Beat with DJ Nastiness.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing back the memories.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music.
Bringing Seattle's hottest music. Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
That's my noise.
Peace. Hey, what's with the Band-Aid? Oh, it's just my latest COVID shot. Didn't you just get one? No, that was months ago. We got to stay up to date. This is the latest bivalent booster. You make it sound like it's a superpower or something. It is. Power up your immunity. Don't let COVID catch you off guard. Go to powerupagainstcovid.com for more information.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with guaranteed rate affinity with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello, I guess it's just Tina today. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us at Real Estate and Money. And today we're going to be talking about the Asian Pacific Islanders Heritage Month celebrated across the U.S. And if you have any friends or family members that are right by you, or you can make a quick phone call to, have them join the show so we can talk to you a little bit about that. So today actually is May 23rd. And what we are celebrating today is we're celebrating spring. We're celebrating May Day. We're also celebrating Memorial Day. But for us Asians, whether Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Vietnamese, Cambodian, it is National Asian Pacific Islanders Month. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So, but before we do that, let me talk a little bit about the mortgage rates and what they're doing. Let's do an update on that. Great. So, a lot of people have been thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to go ahead and buy a house now that the rates are high? Are we going to go ahead and wait until the rates go a little bit lower? And like I always tell my clients, buy when you need to buy. If you are moving, it doesn't make a difference whether you have high rates or low rates. You've got to move, so you have to buy a new house. If you are expanding your family size, it doesn't make a difference if the rates are high or rates are low. You need to buy a new house. If you are transferring to another state for job purposes, it doesn't make a difference whether you're buying with a high rate or a low rate. But today, let's go ahead and look at these mortgage rates. As you can see, the 30-year mortgage is at an average of, let me see if I can blow that up just a little bit, 6.96. That is the national average for a 30-year fixed mortgage. And of course, these mortgages that we're quoting here are with 20% down, with at least a 7 to a 720 score. So for whatever reason, you're at a 590 or you're at a 630, your interest rates may be a little bit higher. And on the other pendulum of that, if you do have scores 780 or 800 and above, a lot of times you can get a better rate. Now, once again, this national average of 6.96 is assuming that you have 20% to put down. So if you have only 5% to put down, or if you only have 10% to put down, of course, you're not going to get the best rate out there. So that 6.96 rate gives an indication of somebody with fairly good credit plus 20% down. Now, if you also look here, you see that you've got a 5-year is at, let me see here, right around 6% there. Am I correct? Yes, it's right around 5.96%. So, we're telling people right now that the interest rates are a lot lower. So go ahead and we think they're going to go a lot lower, or we hope they're going to go a lot lower in the summertime. So if they do go a lot lower in the summertime, go ahead and take a 30-year fix. You're going to refinance anyhow. A lot of times the 5/1 ARMs and 7/1 ARMs are different things that you have to deal with, or different ways of qualifying for those types of programs. So we tell people, if you think the rates are going to go down, if the 30-year mortgage is good to you or agreeable to you, go ahead and take that 30-year mortgage. And if the rates should go down, they should go down, and you can go ahead and refinance. But if you have to do something funny to get a 5/1 ARM or a 7/1 ARM, you're going to kind of get mad at yourself if rates do go down below that. And then you're stuck for 5 years, whereas you could have had a 30-year mortgage at a better rate. So anyway, that is what's going on in our world today. Okay, and so I guess we have to find my co-host, Violeta. I'm not quite sure where she's at, but I'm thinking that she probably has probably doesn't have the link. So, here's my phone number right here, 253-332-5986. Now, today's topic, once again, is Asian Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. Now, let me go ahead and give you a synopsis of what that means. So the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month, actually, as of 2009, was officially changed to Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. It is observed in the United States throughout the month of May and recognizes the contributions and the influence of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. Now, unbeknownst to a lot of people, we have been, as Asians in the United States, or at least this continent, since the year 1587. And of course, the first Asians documented in the United States in 1587 is when Filipinos landed in California. And that was, and then from 1898 to 1946, of course, we were considered an island or American territory. The next group of Asians actually that were documented came to the United States were Indians, and they were in Jamestown, and that was documented as early as 1635. And in 1778, the first Chinese to reach what would be the United States arrived in Hawaii. In 1788, the first Native American arrived in the continental U.S. via Oregon. And in 1900, Hawaii was annexed as part of the United States. So we have a deep history in the making of the United States. And it's not just Asians that immigrated here in the early 1900s. We go back as early as 1587. Now, let's go a little bit more into current day. Filipinos actually weren't able to even buy property in Washington State for whatever reason until somebody accidentally snuck underneath the radar about a home, I believe, in the 1950s in Washington State. So as you can see there, that's almost a $400-year difference from when we arrived and set foot in the United States to when we can actually start purchasing. And now it's very prevalent here in the United States for Asians to actually buy property. And it has been centuries since we were denied the ability to buy property. So if you are Asian American, you just came here, your first generation or your third, fourth, or fifth generation, if you have not bought a house, I encourage you to be part of the American dream, since you actually made America part of something to dream of. So if you do not, if you have no desire to own property, that's one thing. But if you're here, you're interested in obtaining generational wealth for yourself, for your kids, and your grandchildren. American Asian Pacific Islanders Month is a kind of a prompt for you to jump up and realize that you do have a strong heritage here, and you do have all the rights that as anybody else in the United States does as a citizen. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a break, Daniel. Let's see if we can find Violeta and keep going with the show. So hold on.
Tune into Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts, Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Great. Okay, you know what? We have got certain celebrations that go on. Just last weekend, I was in San Diego, and there was a large Asian population there. And there are other cities such as New York, Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle that have different Asian Islander events going on this next couple of weeks. So let's take a look at some of the events that are going on here in Colorado. Although we're not as big as Seattle or Los Angeles, there's still a lot of events going on here. So Daniel, can you pull that up really quick? Now, sometimes you have to go out and find some of these events, like in your church or, at the museum, so on and so forth. But we do have some things that are going on. Now, there is usually an Asian art museum somewhere in your city. But here we've got, I don't know if we can blow that up just a little bit, but you'll see here we have got on May 7th, which was already passed. May 7th was the API Wellness Month and for space and generational healing. And also May 14th and 15th was the Asian American Pacific Islanders Festival. And May 15th was the Mundra Dance Studio. And also May 21st was the Asian American Hero of Colorado Awards. Now, there are other items that are coming up this month. This isn't just all of them, but there are other festivals that we're having. There's a lot of dancers. There are a lot of award ceremonies. So you have to actively go out there and find some of the events, but they are still very applicable. You can find them. Now, there are some things going on in Seattle, and I want to call your attention to one of these items here that we've got. We got this going here. Now, this is something that that's going on in Seattle, and Seattle has a very, very private, what is it called? A very brilliant and vibrant community of Asians. So right here, we're talking about the celebrations that's going on here in Seattle. As you can see here, let me see here. We've got the Asian Pacific Islanders Heritage Month celebration, which kicks off with a massive monkeys, beatbox panda, and more. Okay, so this is something that showcases the Asian community in Seattle and in Washington. You've got the Massive Monkeys. The Massive Monkeys, actually, I believe they won several, a 28-member crew from Seattle that won the 2004 World B-Boy Championships in London and appeared on season 4 of MTV's America's Best Dance Crew. Okay, they're still very, very active there in Columbia City. They're doing all types of different wonderful things. So these are some of the contributions that we are bringing as an Asian community to the general population. So these are one of the things that are happening. Let's see what else we have going on here. Seattle Standard Festival. The Seattle Standard actually has a lot of festivals. They have, of course, the Philippine Festival. They've got Japanese, Korean, and Chinese festivals at the Seattle Standard. So that's one spot you want to go to. And that always brings in all the community here. So so there's things going on in Seattle. There's the museum, the Museum of Art in Seattle. There's all different festivals. I believe there's a bonsai festival that's going on at Federal Way at the Weyerhaeuser campus. If you have never been there, you need to go. There's some bonsai trees. I swear they're 1,500 years old. They're 1,000 years old. They've got bonsai trees there that you can look at that actually celebrate all the accomplishments of bonsai trees in Asia that they brought over here to the United States. So for me, let me talk a little bit about my Asian Pacific Islanders heritage. So my father is Creole, so he's from Louisiana. He's part Black, French, and Italian. Thus the name Tina Lombard. On my mother's side, however, she's Filipino. And 100% just Filipino, okay, and everything that comes with. So for me, growing up on the Air Force Base, there weren't a lot of Filipinos. There were people of all of these different races. So I lived in Guam during the late 60s and the early 70s. And there weren't a lot of people in the service that were Filipino. However, on the island of Guam, there were a lot of Asians, a lot of Filipinos there. So for me, I never saw color, I never saw white, I never saw black, I never saw brown or Hispanic. I just saw people. When we moved here into Seattle, we moved into the Burien area up there at Boulevard Park. And in that school, there was maybe 300 students there, and there were 5 people of color. 4 of them were my brother and sister. And then there was another girl named Ann. And then David and Janine Lofton moved in. And so there was 7 of us or what have you that were brown, not just Asian, not just, whatever other color, just 5 or 6 or 7 people who were black or brown in our school. And so for me, that was kind of a change because I always used to be seeing people in different colors and nationalities. Then we moved to South Shore and Rainier Beach. in the Rainier Beach area, of course, that was very, very mixed. I had so many friends that were either Chinese, Japanese, Cambodian, Vietnamese, Samoan. When I got into high school, that's when the Samoan influence started coming in, the Vietnamese, the Cambodian, Laotian that came in. So I had people from many, many different traits, Hawaiians. And so for me, when I went to school, I saw people of many different nationalities, many different cultures. And these different cultures that came in actually taught us a lot about how to live and what goals that everybody has that's different from America. A lot of my friends who came from Vietnam or Cambodia came here under very, 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 very harsh circumstances, just fighting for their lives. A lot of them weren't even of teenage age. They were actually adults. But in order to get on the ship and be able to be brought over here to the U.S., they had to lie about their age, and they had to become teenage age just to stay in the United States. So their struggle was something I never knew of, but it did teach me a lot about life. The Filipino community, same thing too. A lot of them were parents were first immigrants and they were second generation. But the way we saw things, the way we communicated, the way we did our music, we did our art, we did our sports, and we did our after-school extracurricular activities in the Filipino community were very, very different. There's nothing I ever saw in Guam or saw in Boulevard Park, that part of town. So where I was, the Asian community, the Filipino community was very active with the FYA, Filipino Youth Activities. They were very active in dancing. So I was part of Folklorica Filipina. I was part of a lot of different dance troupes that were Filipino. So for me, my experience as a Filipino living in Seattle was very exciting. I ran for Miss Filipino Community when I turned 18 years old and became Miss Filipino Community. And that opened the door to so many different opportunities and avenues for me. And the support of the Filipino community was something that pushed me through my career. I had a lot of friends who were Chinese. I had a lot of friends who were Japanese. And these are cultures that taught me martial arts. We used to play kung fu and stuff, during high school, so on and so forth. But these are some examples that I would never have been able to come across just living in a community that was not diverse. So yes, my Japanese friends with the art, with the music. I was in Rainier Beach Jazz Lab. I played piano, and we had the best jazz lab. I was in Garfield High School, and the whole brass section was Chinese and Japanese. And of course, a little Filipino girl on the piano, which was me. And so that culture, that community is something that I would have never achieved if I went anywhere else that wasn't diverse. So that community actually carved who I am and carved all my talents and carved my way through life. When I actually went to the University of Washington, I met an influx of people from India. A lot of people who came from India, Kuwait, they came from Persia at the time, they came from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and they came all into the University of Washington. I was able to meet all these beautiful different Asians that I would have never met. And of course, they were into the sciences, they were into the math, they were into the dance, so on and so forth. And so they really, really impacted me. I also had a chance to meet Rick and Raj Parashaw, and they ran London Bridge Studios up in Seattle. Of course, these are the birthplace of Nirvana and Queensryche and Alice in Chains and all these different musical groups that were actually produced and recorded by Rick and Raj Parashaw, who were Indian. So these were my friends, and these are also people who carved who I am, and how I saw life, and the different opportunities that were in front of me. Another good friend of mine is Ness Rodriguez, Nasty Ness, who also a Filipino heritage, and I knew him through college, and the way he looked at music, the way he ran around with Sir Mix-a-Lot and everybody else, and he was always throwing down the jams, that also carved part of my life. Had I not grew up in Seattle and been a part of this vivid, vibrant Asian community, I would have never met somebody like Ness, which actually helped me with my goals in music, so on and so forth in life. Now, for me, when I actually moved I got married and I moved to Federal Way. Federal Way has one of the largest Korean populations in the U.S. besides L.A. and New York. And so there I was surrounded with so many different people in the Korean community. I did a lot of people's loans. I did a lot of people's, my son was in Taekwondo, Master Sean's Taekwondo. There were so many different people in the Korean facility that actually helped me with my business. A lot of Koreans came to me for loans, for business loans, for banking. And they actually supported a third of my career. Just the Korean community alone supported a lot of my career because of the way they did business and the way they were able to talk to me. So let's go fast forward. Here we are in the year 2023. And although America is diverse, it still has a lot of challenges, and they still have a lot of pathways in which they need to climb. Right now, there are 23 million Asians in the United States, and we represent about 7% of the population. However, right now, Asian Americans actually are the fastest growing home ownership population in the U.S. And a lot of people think it's the Hispanics, but actually the Asian Americans actually are buying houses like crazy. And a lot of the reasons why they are buying houses like crazy and they are in the market is because they do have education is very important to them, and having their kids grow up in a place where their kids can get educated is very important to them. And home ownership is something that they always have to achieve. The way they handle money, the way they finance, the way they want to build the American dream, it surrounds obtaining a house. So a lot of people who are here, who are first generation, they want to buy a house. It's very important to them. And they know how to make money. They know how to save money, and they understand. A lot of these communities within the Filipino community or with the Korean or the Vietnamese, I see as a loan officer, you'll see mother, daughter, brother, sister-in-law, cousin, uncle. They will all co-sign, and they will all support each other. So that's one of the reasons they continue to grow really fast in that market. So there are other Asians that are coming from China, from Japan, so on and so forth, and they're buying in the United States because if there is another pandemic, they want to make sure their kids are somewhere where they get the best education, such as Boston, Harvard, University of Washington, UC, all these different places. A lot of Asians are coming here to the United States to buy land so their kids can have the best education, and also for medical purposes. So you'll see large communities in Medina. You see large communities in Dallas, LA, San Francisco, where they'll come here from either Canada or they'll come straight from Asia, and they will buy large sums of property for cash. It's still a very good investment to buy here in the United States. So as far as the Asian community and the Pacific Islanders community is concerned, they still want to buy. They still want to achieve the dream. Now, let's say for whatever reason you have never had a way or knew how to get a house. The first thing you want to do is to find somebody in the community, a loan officer such as myself. You're always welcome to call me, but you want to find somebody, a bank, a credit union, or maybe by referral, you want to find a loan officer and get yourself approved. Once you get yourself approved, then you want to find a realtor such as Violeta Strash. And realtors will help you find the right communities, the right school systems, the right areas in which to evolve your business, but they'll help you find where to buy the house. Buying a house here in the Asian community, as an Asian Islander or Pacific Islander, what are some of the concerns? Well, a lot of times people don't understand our names. They don't understand our names. I know a lot of Filipinos are Maria Tess or Maria Louise or Maria, so on and so forth. But, you have to go in there and say, this is my name. This is my social security number. This is what I do for a living. The co-borrower is my sister, and it's my father. The co-borrower is my uncle, or it's by myself. Okay, and you need to go there with a strong, firm stance of what your application is, and do not accept no for an answer. Whether you are working self-employed or whether you're working as a W-2 employee, you're always able, as long as you make income, to apply for a loan. Now, the things that we look for is credit, and we look for assets, and we look for income. Now, a lot of times in the Asian community, we like to hide our money. And there's reasons for that. Parts of Asia, parts of, let's say, the Philippines or what have you, sometimes there's a run on the bank. Sometimes you can never get to your money. So within the Asian community, it's always habitual for us or our parents to take money and hide it in the bed or in a safety deposit box or the coffee can underneath the garage or something like that. And that is very privy to the Asian community. Or we're hiding it from our sister or from our husband or from our kids, but we're hiding it. So it's very important for us when you do come into a loan officer, some of the habits that you brought with you from Asia may not go so well as far as a loan application. So you want to talk to a loan officer that is familiar with your culture or is at least open to your culture. And if you say, hey, I've got $35,000 in a safety deposit box, they'll be able to tell you, okay, that's great. This is how we're going to source it. This is where we're going to put it for the next 60 days so that we can season it. You can get a loan. So that's something that in the Asian community is very pertinent, or it's very popular. This is one thing that always comes to being. A lot of times in the Asian community, you'll have mother co-borrowing with the son for a car, and that's a lot. You'll have a mother co-signing for the son, and maybe the son or the daughter doesn't pay their car loan. So that's one thing we always look for. And in the Asian community, you'll find a lot of people who actually co-buy for cars. That's very prevalent for other items. So as far as getting the loan, that's not always a good thing. So that's something that you want to be concerned with. As far as income is concerned, a lot of people do have their job as a doctor, as a nurse, as a lawyer, as an accountant, so on and so forth, but they always have something on the side. They always have an extra job. As Asians, we have 3 or 4 jobs always. But if you have a different job in the Asian community, we want to make sure that we document that second job. So that's something that we always look for when I do have Asian clients. They will make a ton of money, but not all of it is documented. But I can show them ways on how to document that income so that they can qualify for a loan. Another thing too is credit. Is that if you do have people who come up to you, and a lot of companies target the Asian community or the African American community or the Hispanic community, such as Credit Karma or freecreditreport.com. And first-time home buyers don't know the difference. But if you do have any solicitation from these companies to get your freecreditreport.com, please, under no circumstances, go ahead and take them up on that. You can always call a loan officer and have them pull your credit. But in the Asian community, there is lots of solicitation. There's a lot of marketing toward us to get a free credit report. Don't do that, because a lot of times it adversely affects your credit. So for us, it's really great. Just find a loan officer that you can trust, such as myself, or somebody in your community, somebody at your church, somebody at the local bank, somebody that you can trust. And with all these different cultural differences we bring to the application table, those loan officers will be able to filter everything out and make sure that your application is understood. And if the application is understood correctly, you will get the home of your dreams. After we get your loan approval, once again, we will find a real estate agent for you so they can find the perfect house for you and your family. So I know that we're coming to the end of our show. If you have any questions, you're also always welcome to call me, 253-332-5986, and I can answer your questions. If you have a sister, if you have a mother, if you have a father, if you have a brother, if you're getting married, and you just don't know about what type of a loan you will qualify for, how much money you need, those are the questions that you cannot hold in secret. You need to reach out to somebody. Call me, 253-332-5986, or go to your local bank, somebody that you know, and say, hey, this is my circumstance. My wish is to buy a house. What do I need to do to get involved? What do I need to do to get an approval? And a lot of times it's very easy. I tell people to qualify for a home is very easy. Finding the home is a different story. So I can at least give you a pre-approval letter that says, hey, you're qualified for $589,000, and then you find the house. That's the difficult part. But please do talk to somebody and be part of this American dream. Be part of Asia Pacific Islanders and all that we celebrate and all that we contribute. You need to be part of this. This is part of the American dream. This is what our parents brought us here to the United States, and they had a dream, they had a goal for us, and let's continue that goal, and let's continue that dream. So Daniel, thank you so much for helping me out today, and for your viewers, my viewers out there, please join us again next week, and that's at 2:30 in Seattle, and it's 3:30 here in Denver, Colorado. And until next time, my name is Tina Lombard, and I'll see you then.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune in to our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find